AKAZA. AKAZA is a major supporting antagonist of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. He is a demon affiliated with the 12 Kazuki, holding the third highest position, upper rank 3, Jogan no San. Over a century ago, AKAZA was a human by the name of Hakuji, a prodigious martial artist who trained under Keizo while nursing his daughter, Koyuki, who would later become AKAZA's fiancé. Appearance. AKAZA is a very muscular young man of above average height with skin so fair, it appears bright green tinged white, decorated by a pattern of thick blue lines, which resemble the criminal tattoos he had as a human. AKAZA had short, bright pink hair that fluffed out around his head, and inward tilting yellow eyes with pink eyelashes and blue sclera that looked somewhat like cracked glass. The kanji 4 upper rank, Jogan, and 3, San, are etched into his irises as well. The lines on his face curved through each of his eyes from below his ears to over his temples, another blue line running from the center of his hairline to the bridge of his nose, with 2 more lines running around his neck, 3 others branching off the lower one to his torso. The center line ran directly down his chest to halfway down his stomach, and the other 2 branched off to the sides over each side of his chest to join the 2 other lines, this same 3-line pattern there also repeating around his waist. On his arms there were lines running down the front of his shoulders that ran into 2 more, which went around his biceps, before continuing to run down to his wrists, below which it could be seen that each of his fingers are also dark blue with an orange fingernail, his toes also sharing this unusual appearance. He wore little, only sporting a short, sleeveless dark purple-pink haori that was cut off at his waist, left open to expose his chest, that was decorated by a square pattern on his back. Below this, he sported a pair of baggy white pants that he rolled to just below the knee with a blue rope belt to secure them at his waist. AKAZA prefers to go barefoot, but wears a chain of large round pink pearls around each of his ankles. During his human days as Hakuji, he had the same hair, just colored black rather than pink, and pale blue eyes with unusually colored pink eyelashes. He was also very muscular as a human, and, on each of his forearms, he bore 3 black criminal tattoos. He also wore a dark blue-gray yukata. Personality. AKAZA is a strong, stubborn and battle-crazed social Darwinist who enjoys fighting, especially against strong demon slayers. He purposefully drew out fights so as to savor every moment of it, also complimenting his opponents when they unleash strong techniques or land blows on him, usually remarking that their techniques and swordsmanship are magnificent and intriguing. AKAZA looked down on anybody he deemed weak, so much so that his skin would crawl at the sight of them. However, he genuinely respected those who were strong in his eyes, demanding to know their names, and would not stop until he finds out. He remembers all the names he's committed to memory as tribute to their strength. AKAZA also presents an opportunity for those he recognizes the strength of to become demons, believing that preserving their refined techniques and skill was right, and feels pain watching the deterioration of those blessed with extraordinary gifts as they age, and going so far as to kill them in order to preserve their magnificent skill himself should they decline his offer to become a demon. AKAZA also doesn't discriminate strong warriors that were weak before, as shown when he praised and complimented Tanjiro Kamado despite knowing how weak he was during their first encounter, even going so far as to thank Kaijuro for Tanjiro's growth. AKAZA believes strongly in social Darwinism, believing that the law of nature dictates that all weaklings shall be eliminated. AKAZA had a deeply rooted psychological need to become stronger, and did not get along with his fellow upper ranks, seeing them as his rivals. He is especially antagonistic towards and somewhat jealous of the 2 upper ranks above him, Doma and Kokoshibo, lashing out at Doma and vowing to kill Kokoshibo. Even after being beaten down and beheaded during his fight against Tanjiro and Tomioka, he stubbornly held on and continued to fight, remarking that he must become the strongest no matter what, to the point of overcoming all demons' shared weakness of decapitation by Nichiren swords through nothing but sheer willpower and resolve. It was later revealed that AKAZA's desperate and stubborn pursuit of strength was to heal his sick father and to protect the ones he loved and cared about, namely his fiancée Koyuki and his teacher Keizo. AKAZA also possesses a deep hatred for his past life as a human, believing that it was absolutely worthless, and hated anyone or anything that reminded him of it, such as Tanjiro's own view of how the strong should help the weak and Ju's unwavering resolve reminding AKAZA of Keizo, both instances which he reacted to negatively. As a human, AKAZA possessed the same stubborn and resilient personality. Despite resorting to crime, AKAZA only did so out of desperation to buy his father needed medicine. Even after receiving countless beatings that would make a grown man go numb, AKAZA's resolve never wavered, further declaring that he would endure those same beatings for 100 years just for his father to heal, showing how much AKAZA valued the well-being of his loved ones more than himself. This was also shown when he nursed Koyuki despite having no connection to her before, never even feeling that it was a burden before and declining her offer of going to see the fireworks instead of tirelessly nursing her. Even after becoming a demon and losing his memories of his human life, parts of his human memories influenced his decisions. He refuses to eat or kill women, despite knowing it would make him stronger if he did so. Koyuki's name and hairpin influenced the shape and design of his compass needle technique. The martial arts style he uses as a demon was mainly inspired by the style Keizo taught him, and the naming of his attacks were based on fireworks, a reference to AKAZA's promise to take Koyuki to see the fireworks after she was healed. His hatred of weak people and belief of social Darwinism stemmed from a corruption of his human memories, where a rival dojo poisoned his dojo's well because they were never able to beat him. After remembering the entirety of his past, AKAZA started to regret his actions both as a human and demon, realizing that he never respected his father's words to live an honest life and bloodied Keizo's precious Soryu style by using it to murder others. He came to the realization that he hated himself for all of the times he wasn't there to save or protect those he loved, and that he himself was the person he really wanted to kill all along. With the knowledge that the people that he wanted to protect had already died a long time ago, AKAZA lost the will to continue fighting as his pursuit of strength was already for naught and decided to end his own life. In his final moments, AKAZA showed that he still had a lot of humanity left in him, remarking that Tanjiro's technique was magnificent and that he had lost fair and square, even smiling and feeling gratitude towards him for reminding him of his past. Abilities. Overall abilities. As the holder of the third highest position in the 12 Kazuki, AKAZA is an extremely powerful demon, having been able to defeat Kaijuro Rengoku and numerous Hashira as well as countless demon slayers in the past. AKAZA possesses incredible abilities and attributes, most notably his martial arts prowess, which can outmatch the swordsmanship of even the most skilled demon slayers, and his ability to sense fighting spirit, Toki, which allows him to predict his opponent's attacks and discern their weaknesses, making him nigh unbeatable if they are unable to create a countermeasure against this ability. During the Infinity Castle arc, he was able to fight and overwhelm both Tanjiro and Ju during their fight, even when they were both Hashira-level swordsmen using their Demon Slayer marks and when Tanjiro had accessed the transparent world. AKAZA was only defeated with Tanjiro awakening the selfless state which directly countered his extrasensory perception. Even after being decapitated, AKAZA managed to regrow his head through sheer willpower and his extraordinary regenerative abilities, continuing to attack Tanjiro and Ju. If not for AKAZA losing his will to continue fighting, he would have certainly killed both demon slayers as he had already rendered them extremely fatigued. As a further testament to his might, he attained the upper rank 3 title and became the 4th strongest demon in existence without killing or eating any women, which would have hindered his growth as a demon drastically according to Doma. As a child without martial arts training, AKAZA could defeat and knock grown men unconscious on his own. At the age of 18, after learning the Soryu style, Soryu Shiki, from Keizo, he was capable of single-handedly annihilating 67 trained adult swordsmen with his bare fists, a feat which even Muzan thought was performed by a demon. Extrasensory perception. AKAZA possesses supernaturally honed sensory abilities able to sense things outside the normal range of perception. On top of being able to sense the auras of demons and humans, AKAZA can also sense something he calls fighting spirit, Toki, the will of a person to fight as well as their murderous intent. He can use this to tell how strong or weak an individual is just by looking at them, predict where and how his opponents will attack, where their weaknesses are, along with sensing where they are within the environment, allowing him to react to attacks from his blind spots. As stated by Ju, this ability also allowed him to instantly evolve and adapt to any attack or technique that he uses, to the point that he can predict when his opponents will strike and how to counter them with equal power. He was also able to find the location of both Ju and Tanjiro from a relatively far distance. AKAZA's senses are so strong that he is able to fight effectively and determine the location of his opponents in the surroundings without a head, making him deaf and blind, and even overpower Ju in the process. Immense durability. As an upper-rank demon, AKAZA's body is exceedingly durable as he harbors an extremely high concentration of Muzan's blood. During his fight with Kaijuro, the Hashira had trouble cutting various parts of his body despite using a katana and possessing superhuman physical strength, showcasing AKAZA's immense durability. Like all demons, AKAZA's neck is much tougher compared to the rest of his body, so much so that Kaijuro only managed to cut 2/3 of his neck before the upper rank escaped, albeit Kaijuro was severely injured then. Immense regeneration. AKAZA possesses one of the most incredible regenerative abilities in the series due to assimilating a massive amount of Muzan's blood, which he displayed constantly. He was capable of instantly recovering from slash wounds both minor and severe, and even limbs slashed off by his opponents with little effort. During his battle against Ju and Tanjiro, his regeneration evolved even further as he didn't die even after having his head cut off by a Nichiren sword and then completely regrow a new one afterwards, a feat considered impossible for demons and one only Muzan, the Demon King, had accomplished beforehand. Even without a head, AKAZA's regeneration speed was still nigh instantaneous. Furthermore, AKAZA seems to be capable of controlling his own regeneration speed to a certain extent. This was shown on multiple occasions, like when Kaijuro sliced AKAZA's arm in two, where the upper rank slowed down his own recovery speed to show off his sliced arm only to heal the injury instantaneously, as well as when AKAZA didn't heal a slash wound Kaijuro inflicted on his chest only for his regeneration to take effect as he placed his hand on it. Most prominently, AKAZA purposefully stopped his own regeneration after he lost the will to fight and accepted his defeat. Immense speed and reflexes, AKAZA is extremely fast, as shown during his fight with Kaijuro when he moves at imperceptible speeds, moving so quickly that even Tanjiro and Inosuke couldn't perceive his blisteringly fast movements, the latter even remarking that he was in a different dimension. This is further exemplified from the fact that he could move in bursts of speed so fast that he appears to teleport, which he frequently displayed, managing to do so even for Tanjiro, who can smell the future. AKAZA has shown to be more than capable of keeping up with the movements and reflexes of the Hashira, the most powerful and skilled combatants in the Demon Slayer Corps, and can even easily outspeed and overpower them. Even Ju, one of the fastest Demon Slayers, was instantly matched by AKAZA in speed despite him awakening the Demon Slayer mark just moments before. Immense strength, AKAZA possesses incredulous physical strength, which has been showcased multiple times, most notably when he punches or kicks, which is strong enough to break the ground and easily kill people. Every one of his strikes is strong enough to cause cuts, shatter ribs, smash eyes, and later pierce the body of Kaijuro Rengoku, a Hashira who possesses above-average durability. AKAZA also easily broke Ju's sword in half with a single side punch and completely shattered Tanjiro's Nichiren sword with a flurry of punches. He was also shown to be capable of destroying the head and jaw of upper rank 2, Doma, despite the latter possessing higher levels of durability. Furthermore, AKAZA could tear through the Infinity Castle with ease, even causing massive tremors in his wake. Combined with his blood demon art, his strength is further increased, allowing him to cause craters in the ground by simply punching it. When he was a human at the age of 11, he is able to completely knock several grown men unconscious in a fight with nothing but his bare fists and legs. At the age of 18, even before he became a demon, he is easily able to decapitate, dismember and mutilate 67 armed adult kendo masters with his bare fists, to the point that even Muzan thought that it is a demon who performed these feats. Indomitable Will, AKAZA possesses an immense willpower and undaunted spirit. Despite being beheaded by Tanjiro's Nichiren sword, he refused to disintegrate and die, instead forcing his headless body to keep fighting. He pushed his regeneration to evolve to the point where he could regrow his head, all because he simply refused to allow himself to lose. Even before he became a demon, he would relentlessly take blows from opponents way bigger than him and receive countless beatings, all because of his goal to heal his sick father. Tactical intellect. With over a century of combat experience and martial arts training under his belt, AKAZA is able to fight effectively with foresight and tactical intelligence. This even surprised Ju, who stated that AKAZA could instantly evolve and adapt to any attack or technique that he uses, to the point that he can predict when his opponents will strike and how to counter them with equal power. Before he became a demon, AKAZA has displayed natural aptitude in martial arts, shown when he was capable of beating up trained swordsmen from neighboring dojos while still in the midst of learning Keizo's Soryu style. This is further exemplified when he could fight and defeat grown men without martial arts training. Unlimited stamina and endurance. Like all demons, AKAZA possesses infinite stamina and vitality, never tiring and always remaining in optimal physical and mental condition all the time, as well as being able to endure waves of onslaught as if it were nothing. In his battle against Kaijuro, his arm was split open by Kaijuro's rising scorching sun, yet he remained unfazed by the slash, even complementing his blade. AKAZA's immense resilience to pain and endurance is most evident when Kaijuro unleashed his most powerful form on him. This time, AKAZA's arm and head were sliced open and his torso was slashed twice. Despite the intense attack, AKAZA seemed more focused on marveling at Kaijuro's technique rather than the damage he sustained. Additionally, Across all his battles he has never showed signs of pain or agony even after getting his limbs sliced off or when he was inflicted with numerous slash wounds and injuries, even those caused by Tanjiro's Hinakami Kagura, which are known to cause pain even to upper-ranked demons, such as Daki. Furthermore, AKAZA is one of the only ones to withstand Tanjiro's headbutt without any signs of pain afterwards, even complementing it. Prior to being transformed into a demon, AKAZA demonstrated superhuman endurance at the age of 11 as he endured beatings that could make a grown man go numb, 100 beatings, thus earning the title of Demon Child. AKAZA stated that he would endure those beatings even if lasts hundreds of years just for his father. Fighting style. Master hand-to-hand combatant, AKAZA's most notable attribute as a human and as a demon is his extraordinary skill in unarmed combat and barefisted martial arts. Even before transforming into a demon, AKAZA has displayed prodigious abilities and skills in hand-to-hand combat, being able to completely lay waste to several grown men at the age of 11 without any prior martial arts training. When he was 18, AKAZA single-handedly annihilated 67 adult kendo masters, brutally mutilating their bodies until they were mangled piles of flesh with his bare fists. After becoming a demon, his hand-to-hand combat prowess was further augmented to the point he could fight effectively at speeds faster than the eye can see while fully utilizing his barefisted martial arts skills for both offense and defense against the most powerful of demon slayers. Furthermore, when combined with his blood demon art and superhuman physique, every single one of his punches and kicks become extremely lethal, with each blow being capable of shattering the ground or breaking ribs, making him an extremely dangerous opponent. That combined with his centuries worth of martial arts experience essentially makes AKAZA unparalleled in hand-to-hand combat. Soryu style, Soryu Shiki, a barefisted martial arts style taught to him by Keizo, a martial arts expert, when he lived with him and took care of Koyuki. The Soryu style utilizes both a user's arms and legs to unleash swift and powerful strikes that target an opponent's neck and weapon. At the start of a battle, the user begins by going into a stance performed by bending their knees in a half-crouch position, extending their right arm with a half-clenched fist facing his body and bending his left arm with an open palm or a nearly identical stance except they open their palm on their right arm while fully clenching their fists in a downwards bend on their left arm. After becoming a demon, he used the Soryu style as his main inspiration of his destructive death, Hakai Satsu, martial arts. Bell Splitter, Suzu Wari, a technique likely created from the Soryu style where AKAZA strikes a sword from the side as it is descending to break it with little effort. When he was a human, AKAZA was most proficient in this technique, likely due to having fought the neighboring dojo's swordsmen and murdering 67 of them when he was 18, which would likely require him to utilize that move many times in order to overpower them. Blood Demon Art. Destructive Death, Hakai Satsu, AKAZA's blood demon art is centered around martial arts, combining the manipulation of destructive shockwaves and the Soryu style, Soryu Shiki, martial arts he mastered when he was a human. The shockwaves AKAZA manipulates are blue in color and can take on many forms, such as nigh-invisible air pressure, circular energy-like shockwaves, or cannon-shaped spikes. He is capable of generating them at will, from any distance, and seemingly from any part of his body. In combat, AKAZA has his shockwaves accompany his own punches and kicks to amplify its destructive capabilities, enveloping his every strike in a faint blue light. At the start of a battle, AKAZA initiates his blood demon art by deploying a special technique called Technique Development, Jutsushiki Tenkai. AKAZA starts by going into a stance unique to the Soryu style, which there are two versions of. The first stance is performed by bending his knees in a half-crouch position, extending his right arm with a half-clenched fist facing his body and bending his left arm with an open palm. The second version is nearly identical except he opens his palm on his right arm while fully clenching his fists in a downwards bend on his left arm. Using the shockwaves of his blood demon art and the Soryu style, AKAZA is able to attack his targets with both destructive long-ranged barrages and precise short-ranged strikes. During his battle with Kaijuro Rengoku, he was able to keep the Flame Hashira at bay with his shockwaves, forcing him to close the gap and putting him in range of his barehanded fighting style, which was to the upper rank's advantage. The shockwaves generated from his blood demon art are extremely powerful, once being able to smash Kaijuro's left eye, ribs, and even internal organs after he took a barrage of larger shockwaves head-on, the same Hashira who survived explosions being rained down upon him with insignificant injuries. AKAZA can also use his blood demon art and his kicks to generate additional destructive force to launch his opponents an extremely far distance. More impressively, he can create countless shockwaves that surround his target with 100 blows that strike them everywhere almost at the same time. Another crucial part of his blood demon art is in the form of his compass needle technique, which is essentially a form of advanced extrasensory perception that enables him to sense a person's will to fight. He uses this information to instinctively aim for their vitals and weak points, determine their strength at a glance, predict where and how his opponents will attack, sense their location in his immediate surroundings, enhance the lethality and accuracy of his punches and kicks, and evolve and adapt to their attacks over time. Compass needle, Ration, AKAZA manifests a light blue snowflake-shaped compass underneath him with numbers ranging from 1 to 12. This technique allows AKAZA to sense a person's fighting spirit, Toki, a person's will to fight, which he uses to achieve numerous effects while in combat. Firstly, he is able to determine the strength of anyone at a glance, such as when he discerned that Kaijuro was a Hashira just by looking at him. Secondly, AKAZA is able to detect the presence of his opponents in his immediate surroundings, even in his blind spots, and can use this to predict where and how his opponents will strike him. This technique also allows AKAZA to tell where his target's weaknesses are located and instinctively aim for them. Furthermore, the precision of AKAZA's attacks are greatly enhanced, to the point where Tanjiro stated that it was like magnets were pulling his fists towards his vitals, and even described them as having unparalleled precision. This is hinted at when a slight scrape from his kick, even while his sword had blocked it, caused Tanjiro to bleed. Moreover, Tanjiro also stated that AKAZA was able to pierce through any opening in his attacks without fail. Another trait of his compass needle allows him to reactively adapt to his opponent's attacks, learning to anticipate their techniques and attack forms and even strike back with equal accuracy over time. Additionally, the stronger a person's fighting spirit, the stronger the response of his compass needle. His fighting spirit detection is so accurate that he can find the location of Tanjiro in his surroundings and fight an overpowered Juro without a head, meaning that he is performing those feats while basically being deaf and blind. Air type, Kushiki, AKAZA punches the empty air in front of him while creating a shockwave that flies towards his target and hits them from afar. These airborne shockwaves can be created multiple times in quick succession and can be unleashed in the sky or on the ground. Disorder, Ranshiki, punching rapidly at the target, AKAZA creates a barrage of large shockwaves, destroying anything in front of him. This attack was capable of overpowering Kaijuro's Flame Tiger technique. Annihilation type, Mashiki, one of AKAZA's most powerful techniques. AKAZA crouches with both his arms at the side of his body poised to strike. He then lunges forward, creating two powerful circular shockwaves from the palm of his hands which he uses to strike his target with tremendous force. This technique was strong enough to go through Kaijuro's most powerful attack, Rengoku. Leg type, Crown Splitter, Kyakushiki, Kamuro Saki Wari, a reverse, rising axe kick that produces a shockwave once it connects with the target. Leg type, Explosive Flurry, Kyakushiki, Ryusen Gunko, a flashing flurry of powerful straight kicks so fast that they create afterimages, with each kick producing powerful shockwaves. This technique was powerful enough to launch Ju an extremely far distance. 8-layered Demon Core, Kishinya Eshin, AKAZA unleashes 8 powerful punches, each strike creating large and strong shockwaves in a similar fashion to his Disorder technique. Crushing type, 10,000 Leaves Flashing Willow, Saishiki, Manusen Yanagi, a powerful downward punch that delivers a large shockwave into the ground which expands outward. Leg type, Flying Planet Thousand Wheels, Kyakushiki, Hayusei Senrin, a kick that utilizes a flowing motion which strikes AKAZA's target from below and launches them upward. Final form, Blue-Silver Chaotic Afterglow, Shishiki, Aijin Renzenko, AKAZA's ultimate technique. AKAZA unleashes an omnidirectional barrage of countless thin and sharp shockwaves that deliver 100 blows to his target coming from everywhere almost at the same time. This attack was so powerful that it could negate Ju's Dead Calm technique, a move known for its immense defensive capabilities. Game-exclusive techniques. Collapse, Harako. Similar to his 10,000 Leaves Flashing Willow technique, AKAZA leaps into the air and delivers a downward punch that shatters the ground. Disorder, Shatter, Renshiki, Sai. Similar to his Disorder technique, AKAZA unleashes numerous straight punches in front of himself before sending his target flying with a shockwave-enhanced punch. Annihilation type, Punish, Mashiki, Kai. AKAZA deploys his compass needle technique before rushing to his target and delivering a multitude of powerful shockwave-enhanced punches and kicks before unleashing his Annihilation type technique. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.